She said she got the proof. This is my first time actually reading the text, and I just feel like this is beneath me. You said blank if we... That's what that says. And now you going back on your word after I signed the release form for Cannon. I take you back to court. Don't play with me. You didn't ask me to cash app you no extra money towards the rent. I just did it out of the kindness of my heart because I knew you were behind trying to help you. That wasn't no extra money. That was what you're supposed to be giving me anyway, since we agreed to
Interview.
Hold on to your seats because what just went down on live TV is going to be talked about for years to come. What was supposed to be a simple reunion special on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta turned into the most jaw-dropping scandal this show has ever seen. Cameras caught Rasheeda's face when she discovered that not only was Kirk Frost sneaking around with Jasmine again, but he had secretly married her months ago. Yes, you heard that right, a whole marriage behind Rasheeda's back. The studio went dead silent. Cast members were frozen. And Rasheeda, standing up in disbelief, whispered, "You married her." And just like that, the screen cut to black. But what really happened behind the scenes? How long was Kirk keeping this secret? And how did Jasmine manage to hide it until now? Fans are losing their minds and demanding answers, while the Frost family may never recover from this betrayal. Buckle up because the lies are quickly falling apart. What was supposed to be just another reunion filled with some playful shade, a few tears, and classic clapbacks turned into a full-blown storm. The Love and Hip Hop Atlanta cast was gathered in a glittering studio lit by soft gold, with an energy that hinted at trouble. The audience was tuned in, expecting the usual mess, but no one saw what was coming. Rasheeda entered looking like royalty, her crimson bodycon dress, sharp heels, and eyes that said she wasn't here to play. Kirk followed, flashing his usual grin, as if everything was fine. But the tension between them was palpable, and even the crew could feel it. Kirk avoided eye contact, shifting in his seat like he had a confession to make but wasn't ready to speak the truth. "I'm here to clear the air," Rasheeda told producers in her confessional, her voice firm but carrying the weight of years of betrayal. If Kirk's hiding anything else, tonight's the night. But she had no idea that the truth was about to explode. The show started with light-hearted banter, the cast tossing playful jabs, while Jasmine sat off to the side, quiet and composed. But something was off. Her body language was calm, but her eyes flickered toward Kirk every few seconds, almost as if they shared a secret. And guess what? They did. "Let's talk about growth," the host, Big Tiger, said with a smirk. "Kirk and Rasheeda, y'all have been through a lot. Where do things stand now?" Rasheeda took a breath and responded, "We co-parent. We run our businesses and stay respectful. But trust me, that's a whole different thing." The audience clapped. Kirk nodded with his supportive husband face, the one he'd worn so many times before. But Jasmine's lips twitched. Was that a smirk? What no one knew yet was that Jasmine had shown up with a new confidence. She wasn't here to argue or defend herself. She was holding something back, something huge. Backstage, producers noticed Jasmine's shift in demeanor. While adjusting her mic, she smiled and said, "I'm more than good now. Let's just say I'm finally getting what I deserve." Her assistant slipped a sealed envelope into her purse. "Are you going to open that on set?" the assistant asked. "Only if they push me," Jasmine replied, with a wink and an unshakable confidence. During the commercial breaks, Rasheeda started noticing odd behavior. Jasmine was calm, but Kirk was jittery, checking his phone, avoiding eye contact, whispering to producers. At one point, he left the stage for a bathroom break and didn't return for nearly 10 minutes. When he came back, his nervous smile was plastered on his face, and he refused to look Rasheeda in the eyes. "You okay?" she asked him quietly during a low mic moment. "Yeah," Kirk mumbled, "just thinking about stuff." But Rasheeda knew Kirk and she knew when he was lying. Her gut had screamed at her before, and it screamed again now. The truth was about to crash down, and Rasheeda could feel it. Meanwhile, Twitter was on fire, speculating about the tension. "Jasmine's hiding something at the reunion," one tweet said. "Why is Kirk acting like he's about to pass out?" another commented. The cast and crew had no idea what was coming, but when segment 3 wrapped, Jasmine stood up, asking to speak. I just want to be real, she began. I've been quiet for too long. People dragged me, called me names, treated me like I'm just the side chick. But the truth is, the audience leaned in. Rasheeda blinked, Kirk froze. I'm not just Kirk's ex. I'm not just his baby mama. I'm his wife. Silence. The entire studio went still. The crew behind the cameras stared in disbelief as if time had stopped. Rasheeda stood, half out of her seat. What the hell did you just say? She demanded. Jasmine calmly reached into her purse, pulled out a sealed envelope, and slid it across the table. You want proof? She asked. Inside was a marriage license, dated 6 months ago. Signed, notarized, official, and undeniable. Big Tiger's mouth dropped open. Wait, this is real? He asked. Real as it gets, Jasmine replied. The room erupted. Gasps, screams, and shocked laughter filled the air. Scrappy whispered, Yo, what the hell? While Bambi covered her mouth in disbelief. Spice was speechless from across the stage. Within seconds, producers yelled, Cut! Someone ran out to try and block the camera, but the damage was done. The cameras were rolling, the internet was watching, and the clip was already viral. Rasheeda stared at the marriage license, her face blank, body shaking. This can't be real, she whispered. But Kirk said nothing. He didn't deny it. He just lowered his head. Rasheeda looked at him, one hand over her mouth, the other gripping her chair. Kirk, say something, she demanded. But he said nothing. The reunion had transformed from a simple cast update into a public betrayal. And just when everyone thought it was over, Rasheeda did something nobody expected. She took off her MIC pack, placed it gently on the couch, and started walking off the stage. The host called after her, Rasheeda, are you sure you want to do this? But she didn't look back. She walked straight off set, past the cameras, past the producers yelling, Cut! The door slammed behind her, and the room was left in stunned silence. But that wasn't the end. Backstage, Rasheeda didn't collapse or cry. She stood in front of the mirror, silent, studying her reflection like she was seeing a stranger. Her makeup was still perfect, but her soul felt torn. Rasheeda, are you okay? An assistant asked, but she softly replied, Get out. The door clicked shut, and Rasheeda pulled off her heels and earrings, shedding her armor. Her hands shook, but her face remained calm. Calm like someone who had just faced the final betrayal. Moments later, she returned, barefoot, eyes dry but voice sharp as a blade. Run the cameras, she said. I've got something to say. The crew froze. The tension was unbearable. Since y'all are watching this like a game show, let me give you the truth, she began. Kirk slowly approached her. Rasheeda, maybe we should sit down and talk, he said. But she wasn't having it. I gave Kirk 20 years of my life. 20 years. I forgave him when he didn't deserve it. I stayed after he embarrassed me on TV, in blogs, and in real life. I helped him build businesses. I let him back into my heart, and he married someone else. The audience gasped. Rasheeda turned to the camera. To every woman watching this who stayed too long for a man who wasn't man enough to tell the truth, I see you. And to Jasmine, she said without malice, you didn't win. You think having Kirk makes you the one? Baby, you've got the leftovers. The version of him that lost everything good when he lied. The crowd roared. Kirk tried to reach for her, but she stepped back. Don't touch me, she warned. Jasmine stayed seated, arms folded, watching the meltdown unfold. The cameras kept rolling. The moment was beyond television. It was real. Kirk sat in stunned silence, not even looking at Jasmine, who had disappeared after the reveal. Producers were unsure what would happen next, but they knew they had just witnessed history. Rasheeda turned and walked off set, softly, with finality. The screen faded to black, but the internet had already exploded. The reunion special everyone had been waiting for took a jaw-dropping turn. What was supposed to be a regular taping quickly became one of the most scandalous moments in love and hip-hop Atlanta history. Rasheeda's face said it all when she learned that not only had Kirk Frost been sneaking around with Jasmine, but he had secretly married her months ago. Yes, you heard that right, a full-on marriage behind Rasheeda's back. The room went silent. Cast members froze. Rasheeda stood up, whispered, "You married her." And the screen cut to black. What happened next? The door clicked shut. But moments later, she walked back onto the stage, barefoot, eyes dry but voice sharp. "Run the cameras," she said. "I've got something to say." Rasheeda turned to Kirk, her voice steady. "I gave you 20 years. I forgave you when you didn't deserve it. I stayed after you embarrassed me. I let you back into my life, and you married someone else." To the camera, she said. "To every woman watching who stayed too long for a man who wasn't man enough to tell the truth, I see you." Rasheeda then turned to Jasmine, saying, "You didn't win. You think having Kirk makes you the one? You've got the leftovers, the version of him that lost everything good when he lied." The crowd roared. Kirk tried to reach for her, but she stepped back. "Don't touch me," she warned. Jasmine watched, arms crossed, seemingly satisfied. The cameras kept rolling. This wasn't just TV. It was real. Kirk sat silently, his head down, and the room stayed frozen. Rasheeda then walked off stage again, leaving the set in total silence. The internet exploded, and fans were already calling it one of the most powerful moments in love and hip-hop history. And the drama didn't stop there. Rasheeda's next move? She launched a limited edition clothing line called Leftovers, with a promo image of her standing in front of a trash bin. The collection sold out in just 17 minutes. As for Kirk, he finally posted a vague message about regrets and mistakes but didn't own up to anything. But the next day, the final twist came. Jasmine went live again, revealing she was pregnant. The internet was buzzing. Was it Kirk's baby? The drama was far from over, and Rasheeda, once again, had the last word. If you enjoyed this wild ride, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this epic saga. Trust me, this isn't over. There's more drama, more receipts, and it's only getting juicier. Stay tuned for the next chapter.